Death da, Nakan. Welcome to podcast number 113. Well, like I mentioned last week, we hit the town, down Newquay last weekend. We went to Karen's 50th birthday, dressed up as the Peaky Blinders. I did put some photos on my personal Facebook page, and it was brilliant. Went really well. We met Karen Cox, made me laugh. She did ask if I managed to crack the accent for the Peaky Blinders. Well, I didn't quite know, but there we are. And then also weekend, we did head up to Callington. 'Tis a funny old job, really. Maven's football team now, they're in an under-18 league, but our home games are being played at Callington and our away games are being played at Penryn. So we got a hang of a trek. So like we could be playing Bodmin, but we'll be playing them at Callington. So I don't know. I think that is how it's going to be for the whole season. But went up there. They had a brilliant win. Had a brilliant match. Me week funeral-wise have been, as usual, busy. We was down Penmount this week. We don't go Penmount that much because obviously Glyn Valley is the closest to us. 'Tis different to when I started with Father, and that was the only crematorium in Cornwall. So we was down Penmount, well, all the time. And back then, the slots for the services was only 40 minutes. And that 40 minutes was basically, you had your service and you had 10 minutes, well, less than 10 minutes to talk, really. Because pretty much as soon as you come out, you might have 5 minutes. Then you'd have to go because the next funeral was coming in. And they still got the two chapels now that they had then. So, their big chapel, Trelawney, that could be 11 o'clock and 11:40. And then Kernow could be 20 past 10, 11 o'clock or something. I can't remember quite how it used to go. But, it was a hang of a quick, really, looking back now, because all the crematoriums now in Cornwall, there's an hour between each service. But the service must only be half hour long. And then it gives the families 15 minutes to talk to people before they drift away because the next funeral is coming. But we learned a lot of shortcuts. Well, not shortcuts. Cross-country routes to Penmount back in the day because there was no bypasses. Summercourt, Trispan, none of them had bypasses. And in the summer, we get as far as the end of St. Colin bypass, which did have a bypass, turn right for Newquay, then immediate left, down past Trebedanon, out Gummo Shop, and that would bring you out down the bottom of Mitchell. So, that was a good way of dodging, especially the summer traffic, because you can imagine it would be even. Anyway, so we've been down Penmount this week. We had a sad old job again this week. I did say, was it last week or the week before, my Cornish dialect, where I said they're picking out of our pen now. And that was the case with Andrew. We had Andrew's funeral this week down Padstow. And the church, I don't think we could have got anybody else in. The church was really packed. And, well, it only seems yesterday we was hanging around the school playgrounds together. And where have that time gone? And music, it plays such an important part these days in funerals. It's different to when I started. You'd have the organ playing as you come in, couple hymns, organ playing going out. But these days things have changed so much. And I don't know, music seems to stir up the emotions. So you go into church, we had Going Underground by the Jam, My Generation during the service, Cornwall My Own going out. It was... it definitely heightens the emotions, I tell you. But I think the last time we was out with Andrew and Lynn was at Ruth's charity do. I think that was for the air ambulance. And it is awful sad, really. Poor old beggar. But he had a lovely send-off, and we're thinking of him, mate. Today, we had a completely different service. And I tell you what, 'tis just as emotional, really. It was a graveside service. There was, I think, 7 people there. It was a private one, just immediate family around the graveside. And it's just as emotional as a large funeral. luckily it was dry. The wind was a bit cold, but it's like we've had a lot of graveside services in our time, and I would say, I'm going to jinx it now, but I'd say 80% of the time the weather's dry, which is good. But that was, very touching. And then this afternoon we've been up to Indelian, which again was a lovely service. We had the cardboard coffin today. We've had a few of they lately. The veneered oak coffins are still the most popular. Then I would say second choice, a lot of people go for seagrass, maybe wicker, and then cardboard. So there's so many choices these days. I think in an earlier podcast I might have spoke about all the different choices of coffins, but I will have a look back. If I am, I will do an episode on it. And actually, before we get to Mike, because I did last week's on the Thursday, I never mentioned Friday's funerals we had last week, which again were two extremes, but two really touching services. We had Morley's service out at Llanlivery. Now, that's a place we don't go to that often, to be honest. You kind of head out towards Lostwithiel and turn right. And I did put some photos on our RJ Bray Facebook page because they did some brilliant things for Remembrance Sunday, which is obviously coming up. Remembrance Day, nearly there on the 11th of November. And they had the statue of the soldier and poppies lining, not real poppies, but plastic poppies that look really nice, lining the pathways to the church. And, well, we got everybody in church just about, but it was a brave squeeze. And we had the bales of straw, which we put his coffin on. And I'm sure he would have loved that service. I'm sure he would. And then to the other extreme, we had a lovely service in the afternoon for Alan. Now, I've known Al, well, for donkey's years. And I must admit, I am seen him for a long time because he ain't been too well. But that was a lovely private family service, just immediate family and a very few close friends there in our chapel, actually, at work. And it was, very touching. So it was the two extremes again. And I think that's what I love about my job is that you get so much variety. And I remember Terry Rowe saying when he came on to work with us, he said, no two funerals are exactly the same. And he's right there, I tell you. He really is. So that was my week for the last week. So what we'll do now, we'll hand over to Mike for the last part of his interview. A lot of it tonight is about Rock Lifeboat, from when it started right the way through. And I'm sure you'll enjoy it. So I'll hand over to Mike and I'll speak to you directly with me Cornish word and dialect. So here it is. And you was involved with Lifeboat, you say?
Yes. I was slightly involved with actually getting it off the ground to start off with.
Right.
Because, we ran the ski school for several years.
Yeah.
And for 2 years, we used to write down all the rescues the boys did. I was down at Brothers Yard at Weybridge there, and Trevor England, the old coxswain of the Castle Lifeboat, was there with his boat, and we were sitting down having dinner talking about it. And he said, "Can you give me a copy of all that lot?" Took it to Paul. Then people from the RNLI came down and met the commissioners because they were originally thinking of actually putting the inshore lifeboat in Padstow.
I see.
But there wasn't anywhere they could put it that they could get out at low tide.
No, I see.
So it actually went to Rock. We had it for a trial 12 months, in which time I think that first 12 months we did something like 38 rescues. Back then, the main customers were windsurfers.
Oh, right.
Because the joint at the bottom of the mast was always breaking. They'd be out in the surf on the bar, stuck. Again, local team of boys, a lot of them got trained up pretty quick, but as it's progressed, where the RNLI base is at Poole, they got a fantastic training centre there now, and all the crew get the option of being able to to go up there for a week's training. It really is brilliant.
Yeah.
For all the time I was on the lifeboat, we had quite a good fundraising group, and we never drew any money down from the RNLI at all. We made enough at Rock to support the station each 12 months.
Yeah.
Which
Fantastic.
which was pretty good, really. A lot of people putting a lot of work in the background that you don't see what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, it's like in just about everything, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
As far as I know, they had 3 new boats while I was there.
Yeah.
They change the boat every 10 years. They're just about to have a new boat.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, somebody from Liscard has donated it, which, is brilliant, really. It was only a few weeks ago. There's been 2 ladies from Sussex has donated the last 2.
Right.
One of the ladies is now unfortunately in a home because they're fairly elderly. But it was about 4 or 5 weeks ago. The one that's very mobile still, she flew down to come down to have a last look at her boat. They come from a village called Rusper,
right,
in Sussex, and that's why the boat is called Rusper.
That's right.
But they have been very supportive. But it's changed enormously since we did it.
Yeah.
Since we set it off originally, mainly with all the training and everything that goes with it.
Yeah.
Because like originally, virtually everybody on the crew had something to do with the water. Right. But now there's a lot involved with it who are not water, for want of a better word, not water orientated.
Yeah.
So the training's there for them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was slightly amused when I finished my time down there, because a circular came around to the station saying we're going to do it the RNLI way from now on. I take it that I mightn't have been following the rules properly.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
That's good. So is there anything else you want to cover? We've covered quite a bit, really,
I think we
haven't
have. It's just a matter of how we can sort it out.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Sort it out. And I haven't had to edit anything either. I don't think you've. There's no.
Well, I've backpedaled a bit on some things, I must admit. Well, yeah.
Oh, lovely. How old was he till you retired then? When did you retire?
What?
From
work?
From work, yeah.
Well, what retired me was losing my leg.
Was it?
Yeah. I'd still be working if I could.
Would it? Yeah. So how did that happen then? What was the...
I went in for a knee joint in 2010.
Yeah.
And within 12 months he come loose. They put another one in with a much longer pin going down my leg. Well, I can't understand why they don't do that on big people to start off with.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, it was that painful. I couldn't walk on it from day one.
Oh.
And then I got 2 infections in it, in the joint, and there wasn't really no alternative but than to have the leg removed. Really.
Yeah.
This. Well, I won't bore you with it too much, but this leg joint I got now has got a computer in it. Yeah. Right. And it knows what you want to do. Well, they call it a microcomputer. But I've had to have it altered recently because when I had this one, I had a hydraulic one first of all, which you could walk down steps and everything with, but I could lock it. Right. Now this one you can't lock. But when I had it first of all, I could walk all right. Yeah. And it knows how fast you want to walk. Brilliant. It's as near as you'll get to having a normal leg. Yeah. But for some reason or other, I've sort of lost my balance recently. Yeah. And I've had it altered now so that when I stand, it actually goes straight and locks straight. Oh, I see. But it does know when I want to sit down.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The only snag with it is we're charging up every night. Oh. And I have to take me off the charging up. Yeah. Because the connection is magnetic
Right.
I got a pacemaker.
Oh, Christ.
Can't get a magnet near a pacemaker.
No. Oh, dear. Oh, just fantastic, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But they, it holds itself on. It's not strapped on or anything. But it's German. I go to Plymouth, a place called the Thornbury Centre. Brilliant gang up there, really. But when I went the last time, I was the only one there. I thought, what's going on? And there was a German chap there. And it was a training day for him.
Right.
But it was brilliant. He said, I'll fix that for you. Come out with his mobile phone, Bluetooth, and adjust it.
Yeah, so that curtailed your working
Yeah,
career, really.
it did really, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just enjoyed the job, really. I used to enjoy the woodwork. When we wanted timber, I used to go down and get the mahogany and that from down Penryn and do all the machining myself. That really was enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you've seen some changes, haven't you?
Yeah, unbelievable. But when fiberglass came along, that was the biggest change.
Yeah.
And now, well, it's like that. It's carbon fibre. The bulk of the boats, I think, are still GRP or fiberglass, There's only when you get into the expensive stuff that it's carbon fibre.
Yeah.
Just out of interest, have you been following the America's Cup?
No, I am, no.
Well, Britain's not been in the America's Cup for 60 years.
Right.
And Ben Ainsley managed to get the British boat into the final.
Right.
But unfortunately, the New Zealand boat beat him 7 races to 2.
Oh.
That's been going on the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And they've been sailing out in Spain, Barcelona. Fantastic to watch. Really is.
Yeah.
But there's the boats have chase boats to keep up with them anything they need.
I see.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, there's a local boy drives the chase boat for the Swiss because he used to work for me, son at Rock. It's do you know Andy Bishop?
Yes. Yeah.
One of his boys. Not Sam, the other one.
No, God,
Jake.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been all over the world with them racing.
Yeah.
He dropped into an absolutely brilliant job there.
Well,
Yeah.
I've learned a lot tonight, I tell you.
Well, there's a lot I haven't been able to say because it would upset somebody.
We'll have to do an X-rated one. For subscribers only or something.
Well,
oh, lovely. Well, thank you very much.
I've got to tell you 2 little stories about Paul Blewett because he was my partner for a bit.
Right.
And at one time he had a beach buggy. And he phoned me up at home one night and he said, I've just run myself over. And he was working underneath the beach buggy in the workshop. Whatever he did, I don't know, but he managed to start it up, completely drove right over himself, and the beach buggy went right out through the doors.
Oh, no.
The doors were shut.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yes, God. Oh, Paul was a bit accident prone.
Yeah.
First time I ever met him, he came up the workshop one Sunday afternoon and he was carrying a bit of metal that he'd bent. Now, whether it was something to do with the bumper of the car, and he said, can you straighten this? So he was holding on the anvil, and as I swung with the sledgehammer, he leaned forward.
Oh, no.
I took half his eyebrow off, and his mother was going to give me a medal because he hadn't been so quiet for years.
Oh, God, that doesn't feel thinking about
No, that could have been nasty.
Yeah.
But, you know what it's like, once you start the full swing,
Yeah.
you can't stop.
No.
But he just eased forward just that bit. One more little thing with him. When he started his crab business, he used to come down the slipway down at Rockhead, a little Ford tractor, and he had a tanker. And he used to suck up the seawater and take a tanker load up for his lobsters.
Right.
I was up opposite the Mariners for some reason or other. Paul comes walking up, absolutely dripping wet. And what had happened, he got off the tractor flipped the brake off as he got off. One of the cleats on the tyre caught his boiler suit, rolled him back over underwater.
Oh no.
Tractor and tanker, you could just see the top of the funnel of the tractor out in the water.
Oh, fantastic. God, if you had a camera then.
Oh, I know. Customs and excise.
Right.
Well, me and another boy went off down to Spain looking at a ski school for sale in there. And we met the guy that used to run the Mariners because he moved to Spain.
I see.
So he took us to a champagne factory one night. We bought a couple of boxes of champagne and didn't declare them when we came through the customs.
Right.
Now, we got impounded up at Plymouth.
Yeah.
Anyway, they took the drink away. And this was 3 or 4 years later. We were pulling, it was about this time of the year, we were pulling boats up.
Yeah.
And they had parked their Land Rover with a trailer on the beach, nosed up to the wall, and it was completely in the way.
Right.
But they came back from Padstow in a boat. They'd obviously been to buy a boat or something, I should think. Now, why they didn't come up to the quay, I don't know, but Maggie did the 4-minute mile from the pontoon up to the quay.
Right.
By this time, the water was halfway up the Land Rover's back door.
Right.
Now, when he came down slippery, I thought, I know you bugger. And he was the fella that took the booze off us in Plymouth. Anyway, they were very reluctant to give me the keys.
Right.
But somebody had to get in it to let it run back. So we hitched on the tractor going forward. But when I let it run back, I was on the driver's seat sitting in the water. Because of the slope of the beach.
Exactly.
And they weren't very happy. There was another fellow that I remember, there was a bloke there with a white polo suit on. He was his boss. When they managed to get him running, it was a diesel, but the headlights were full of water. I pity the person that bought that one.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but they drove off in it. All sorts of things going on. There was another person who shall we nameless, pulling up a big fishing boat from Padstow. Well, the boat must have been, I don't know, 12, 13 ton. Got on the trailer right, but you could see it was a lot of weight because the trailer bellied right down.
Right.
Well, he got a farmer in with a big tractor to pull up. As he went over the top of the slip, the trailer bellied out on the top of the slip and flipped him off the hitch of the tractor.
Right. Yeah.
Well, they did have retaining chains, but chains without weight, the chains just snapped.
Yeah.
There was one car on the beach, which was I remember it was a blue BMW estate car. And that fellow, the silly bugger, had driven up to the slipway. And he was at a bit of an angle. Now this lot came back down. The trailer wheels were quite big, like this.
Yeah.
And the trailer wheel went in over the middle of the bonnet of the car and out over the passenger's door, flattened the car.
Yeah.
The boat didn't go down the beach very far because the trailer collapsed, wheels went over into the boat and he stopped. So that wasn't the problem. But the fellow that was in charge of this operation, his mouth was going up and down and nothing was coming out. I was over on the pontoon with a boy called Ben Mann.
Right.
Do you know Ben?
I know Ben. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we ran over the beach because there was 4 people in the car to start off with. But instead of the fella chucking the car in reverse, they jumped out and left the car there. Oh, it's unbelievable, some of the things that you said.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. There was one more thing that does stick in my mind. There was 3 people come down with a big inflatable, a 40 horsepower engine on the back, and put it in the water. Now, Mike Wilson from the Land Rover Mariners was with me, and Maddie started the engine. The other fellow was standing beside it with the boat looking outwards. Well, they must have overridden the throttle with it in gear. Engine started up, flat out ahead. Maggie fell over the back and we couldn't see him. He was being towed along by a piece of rope by his leg. Now the boat didn't go out very far. There was a woman in the boat screaming. it hit another boat, turned around and came back up the beach. Well, luckily it didn't run over the fella.
Yeah, exactly.
And I said to Mike Wilson, I said, come on, we better run down and see what's going on. He said, you go on, I don't like the sight of blood.
No, no.
But, oh God, you could just go on and on about things that happen, but there's just certain things that stick in your mind, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Christ
good.
off. It's nearly 9 o'clock.
I think we could have 3 episodes out of this, Well, thank you very much, mate. If you want to just say goodbye to everybody on there.
Cheerio. I hope everybody enjoys it.
Proper job. Thank you very much. Brilliant.
Yeah, lovely job, Dave.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mike. That was absolutely proper. Really was. I think for me Cornish word of the week, it'll be 2 words actually. Because Mike was talking so much about the lifeboat, I thought I would do the Cornish for rough sea, because the lifeboat is always out in a rough sea. And there's actually a Cornish clothing company that is named after this in Cornish. So rough sea would be Agervor. Agervor. That's rough sea. And also, for me Cornish dialect of the week, this will be kind of connected with the sea a little bit as well. Now, I've never heard this word before, but I got it from Eric Tatlow's fantastic book. I do wish I could learn to talk proper, which is a brilliant title for the book, isn't it? I do wish I could learn to talk proper. Now, the word that Eric have got, now this is it's a utensil which is used for holding pilchards over the fire. And 'tis a wire-framed utensil, and it's called a scrowler. A scrowler. And you put the pilchards in this, say, wire-framed utensil, and then hold it over the fire so that the pilchards can be scrowled by the heat. So I think that's what me dialect will be for this week. Scrowler. Proper. Right, there we go. So I'll leave you there now, and I hope you have a good week. I'll see you again next week. Wish you well. Do Gennas. Kerno Besviken.